pumpkins have a multiple use in the fall. We see them in decorating, we use them for cooking pies, and we also use the seeds and bake them and eat them as well. But pumpkins can also be used as a main nitrogen source in your compost. In this video, I'm going to show you how I'm going to be filling a new compost bin that I just recently set up and filling it with different materials from my yard, but using pumpkins and a few other scraps as a main source of nitrogen. Chop it up. Forgot I found some really old beets I had not used, and I'm not going to waste them, but I'm going to use them and throw that also into the compost. But check these out, because there's a couple of them, or actually this one especially, is actually starting to sprout. So I don't know if I'm gonna put that one in. I might play with this one and see if something will grow. That is quite cool there. But I am going to definitely chop the two larger ones and add that into the compost for nitrogen. That is so gorgeous. That is gorgeous. What a gorgeous color. Gorgeous. So as mentioned in my last video, this is the GeoBin compost that I set up, and with reinforcers right here to keep it secure. Now, something that you guys did not see that last time, look down at the ground. I told you I've been dealing with a lot of gophers, and they came through, they tunneled around, all the way around. That was not there when I first did that video. But they came around, and they came, I believe, on this side as well. You can see it right over there. And they came right around it, all the way around, and they came under inside. I don't know if you can see very well, but you see that trail looks like a crack. That's from the gopher. All of that frass, all that debris, you know, not the twigs, but all that other soil that's just shredded on there, that is due to the gophers. But they did not get in. This is why I use chicken wire, is because I have an issue with the animals on my property, in my yard. And so I have to lay things down like that to keep them out, or they will destroy what I have. And so I'm going to keep laying down the chicken wire. You may be wondering why I use so much chicken wire, and that is why. So they would have gotten into my compost and tore it up. But luckily nothing was in there, but they tried. So I've got all these twigs over here from just different times that I've taken down trees, branches, edged up our line of our backyard with all the trees, because maybe trees were leaning over. And so I save this material. I don't throw this away and send it away in recycling. No, I use this and recycle it myself. And so I've got so many trees right here. They're just, and they've been cut down over this past 6 months, and they're breaking very easily. So they're gonna be great to use in that compost. So I'm actually gonna bring my bin, start dumping that in there, some of the twigs, dumping it in there, and then dropping it in there. Then I'll do the same for the leaves. This is self-care to me. Self-care, because if you're having a tough day, frustrated time, or you're upset about something, whatever it is, or maybe you're having a tough week, or you're sad, or I don't know. Let's just say you just are exhausted or tired. And self-care for everybody's a little bit different. But this is a form of self-care. I feel like breaking branches, let out your frustration on the branches. So I find that gardening can be very relaxing. It can be very time consuming, but it kind of just gets your mind off of just everything else. There's so many struggles in life that we go through, and you know, it just gets your mind off on things, and it gets you outside and the outdoors, giving you some fresh breath of air, and just lets you do something different than you normally would do. So I do believe that gardening is a form of self-care. I really do. And I do really think that it is really good for our health and our mental health. It's a big one right there. The smaller the pieces are, the quicker that they will be able to be broken down in your compost. So these are all the twigs that I have. I tried to keep out the super large pieces because they will not break down. So I'm just gonna toss that over there. Any of the really large pieces, they will not break down. Take forever to break down in the compost. At least that's what I'm trying to say. So there's a couple of large pieces I need to get out of here. But the way that I'm using this is not to layer throughout the compost these twigs, because then I'd have an issue trying to turn the compost. It would just be too difficult and it would take forever for it to break down. I'm really laying this down as a base in the bottom of the compost, at the bottom, so that there is still aeration at the bottom of the compost, and you know, water can drain through. It's just really just to add just a bottom layer, just at the bottom. That's it. And everything else, like my fluffier greens and my nitrogen material, will be layered throughout. So I'm going to use that. Another thing that I have I'm going to add in there is just some soil from my grow bags from this year from plants. And none of these materials necessarily had any kind of like serious issues with insect issues, bugs, or disease. So I am using these in the compost as well. And with some of them, there's even the roots to the plant. So that's going to be good for added nitrogen as well. See, there's roots right there. And then there's some more roots over here. So that's going to be added nitrogen as well. So I'm going to add layers of that in there as well. And then I've got leaves everywhere, and some grass clippings too. When we last cut the lawn, before everything stopped growing for this fall season, we dropped our grass clippings over here, and then we've got a bunch of leaves that are piled up over here that I'm going to scoop up, and I have some other areas in my yard where I have leaves. Just added one scoop there. Let me get one more scoop of pumpkin. Now I'm going to add some soil. I want to mix that up a little. See if I can get that, because it was a little chunky there. There we go. Let me add some more soil. Mix that up. And now I'm going to get some leaves. Last year, actually, when I was doing this, I was not building a compost. Not out here. I had a compost tumbler, and I still have that, but we just had the leaves over here. And so when the springtime came and I had to build one raised bed I actually used this, it was already broken down, and it was lovely. Had a very nice earthy smell to it because it just sat there and it just broke down on its own, but it was wonderful. Moisten it with some water. My little nozzle thing for my water came off, so this water is going everywhere. So you need to moisten it with some water. That's really going to help it out. So I'm going to keep repeating this process until done. I am just going to go ahead and finish this up. All I'm going to be doing is just continually adding these different layers. I'm going to add the layers of browns of leaves and scooping them up, and then adding the pumpkins and the beets, and then adding some more soil. And I'm going to keep doing that until basically it gets either too dark or I just run out of the pumpkins and I've got that. And I can just continually finish building it at some point this week. But I need to go ahead and just hurry up and finish this up because it is getting dark.